Hello, and welcome to this short video on using data control within the Sophos endpoint suite. As you can see here, we have the main Sophos Enterprise console, and the policies themselves are on the left hand side, the same as they are with the updating on the AV policies that most people are using as standard. Now, the data control can be quite a confusing policy to look at. It can be quite powerful and quite granular, but you do need to have something in place policy wise and have a firm understanding of what kind of information you're looking at in order to protect the data that's going to be potentially leaving your network. You're also going to have to look at the avenues in which that data can leave, such as USB keys, CD drives, or via the internet or via email. So the first thing we'll do, we'll have a look at the data control rule itself. If we open up the policy there, now we've actually got already got one in place that I'm going to show you as part of the demonstration, which is the email address list rule. And I have a file on the desktop with some email addresses in, and we're going to use that as a brief demonstration. The first thing I'll do is I'll show you exactly how that rule is put together. If we hit on the manage rule options, these are the data control rules that we currently have in place, and you'll see there's two there that are ticked that are currently being used within the policy. One's the email address list, the other one's a telephone number list. If we highlight that email address list and hit edit, you will see some of the information that's in there that builds this rule together. So we have a rule name, we have a rule description, you have some various conditions regarding that rule. But one of the main areas we need to look at is section 4. Now there's three options you've got there. You can allow the file transfer and log the event, which is essentially putting it into a monitor only mode, so you have an idea of the information that's leaving your network in order to build a policy around that. The next option we've got there is to allow the transfer on acceptance by user. So the user gets a little pop-up box as they're trying to transfer that information, and they will have to say yes or no in order to transfer, and they know then that that's audited and that's logged. The third option we got down there is actually block transfer. And as you can see, all of these will be able to log those events within the endpoint console. You can also set a few exclusions, whether you want to exclude on a particular file name or a file type. And then down there at section 6 we have the bulk of the rule content. So this is where we're going to look at what destination that we want to use just to filter this particular type of file or information. And you can choose floppy drive, optical drive, different types of removable storage, but you're also looking at email clients, internet browsers as well. For this particular example, we'll be using Internet Explorer. The other thing we've got here is the actual content that we're going to be searching for. So if we click on that, this is where we can actually build the rule itself using Sophos' inbuilt content control lists. Now we're actually going to be using the email address list in this particular example. And there's an option here where you can actually set the quantity or the amount of information that's leaving for that particular file. So again, using the email addresses is a very simple example here. If we were happy with 5 or 6 particular email addresses leaving the network in a file, then that's fine. We can set this number to be slightly higher. If you want to go all the way up to say 50 or even 100 and try and block files where bulk information is being sent out, you can do it that way as well. So if we cancel out of this as not to make any changes for now, and as you can see up here, this particular machine we're on here, on the data control section, the data control is set to active. If I minimize that, and this file here it contains 4 email addresses, as you can see, and we'll be just using this as my example. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop this into Internet Explorer, and that will simulate uploading to a blog or a web forum, or even attaching into a webmail account. So we'll drag and drop this into Internet Explorer. Straight away you can see the file transfer has been blocked down there at the bottom. It gives information about the file name itself and the rule that it was blocked on. If we then go back to the endpoint console, we should be able to see the application control, data control events that are listed in there for that particular machine. And if we just expand this window so you can see it slightly clearer, we've got the information down there. So we've got a couple of entries in there from when I was doing this beforehand as part of the testing, and as you can see down here at the bottom, you've got the time, you've got the user, you've got the computer, rule name, whether it was blocked, and that kind of information. So you can build up a picture of what's going on with that information leaving your network. So that's a rule that's already in place, and I used it as a very simple demonstration. But if you're wanting to set up your own rule, you can either create a new policy under there, or you can look at the existing one, and we can look at creating another rule within there. So if we go into the managed rules option, and what we can do here, we can either add a file matching rule, so you can match it towards a particular file, whether it's a Word file, Excel spreadsheet, database, something along those kind of lines, or you can actually add a particular content rule itself. So again, you would give a name, rule description in there, and if we come down to this section 6 again, where the main content is, you'll see again the CCL window, or the content control list. And this is all the pre-built content control lists that Sophos have got within their product, and it allows you to actually filter that down into various different areas. So if you're looking at putting this into place for PCI compliance, you can have a look at all the CCLs regarding PCI compliance. But if you're part of the NHS, you can look at the NHS content control list that have patient information, that kind of thing, various different aspects of that. Each one of these content control lists uses what we call regular expressions, so you don't have to worry about too many false positives. Use an example of credit card numbers. Not every 16-digit number will be a credit card number, so using regular expressions we can make sure you've got some qualifying information around that. So it will be things like whether there's the vendor's name such as MasterCard or Visa, or whether there's a date of birth, or whether there's information like that around there. So if we have a look at the PCI DSS, if we have a look at this particular one here, we can view this, and here we have details of credit or debit card numbers from the leading suppliers, where it's followed by the credit or debit card number. So not just having a 16-digit number in there, but also making sure that we've got some other information around it. Once you've created that particular rule, you can actually then go over and put some messaging into there. So again, this is very optional, so if you want your end users to know what's going on, you can put some messaging in there, and you can put something very simple to say, file transfer's been picked up by Sophos, please contact the help desk, or such like. The other side of that is you can actually turn that off so the end user doesn't know what's going on, and you can actually set up some email alerting, and that will send an email through to you as administrator or to the help desk, and you'll know pretty much in real time that one of your members of staff has tried to transfer some information off the network using an insecure method, and then you can contact them and try and find a more secure method of getting that information on the move. Well, thank you very much for your time. I hope that you found that very useful.